Hello and welcome to Bookish Season 5. I'm delighted we have with us today India's favorite author, Mrs. Sudha Murthy, a prolific writer, the chairperson of the Infosys Foundation, a philanthropist. Mrs. Murthy wears many hats. She's a much admired figure, a truly inspirational person whom we all admire greatly, deeply, and someone who's given us the gift of many wonderful books. Mrs. Murthy, thank you so much for joining us today. Welcome to PRH.
Namaste.
I mean, it's an absolute honor to have you here. And today we're going to talk about her works, about her latest release, The Upside Down King, and about her incredible journey as a writer. Congratulations on your new book.
Thank you.
And your 30th original work. That's, just wonderful. It's phenomenal, Mrs. Murthy. So how did it all start? Just tell us about your writing journey. When did you start? How old, or rather how young were you when you first started writing?
About 8 or 9 years old, my mother was a school teacher and a history teacher. So father was a doctor and a professor. So they used to take us around some monuments, nearby place, some weekend, some holidays. And my mother made it compulsory that when you see something like that, you should write 25 lines. Initially I resisted, why to write and all. But once I got used to that, then without telling them that I go to a wedding, I'll come back and write. I go to school, something new things happens. Then it became a practice for me to write 25 lines a day. That led me to, one is good handwriting. Second one is habit of expression.
Right.
When I'm upset, I will write. Okay, I'm very angry for this reason, etc. When I'm sad, I used to write, I'm sad for this reason. When I'm very happy, I will write. So writing became my expression of my emotion. And later I used to write good essays. That helped me to write good essays. And slowly, I started observing people, how people react. And I used to read a lot also as a child. All together made me probably a writer. And my first book printed book came out in year 1979.
How old were you then?
29.
Wow.
Okay, my Kannada book. I I toured entire America on my backpack.
I've heard about that, yes.
Okay. And my experiences there, what I felt, historical point of view, my journey all alone. So that I wrote, and I thought, who will publish my book? But it was published for a very well-known publishing house, Manohar Granthamala. Then I wrote my first novel subsequent years when I was posted in Bihar. And I was a month and a half all alone in a guest house. I said, let me try a novel. So my Kannada journey of writing and publishing books started in 79. And on November 12th, 2000, I started writing in English for Indian Express as a column.
Right.
Episodes, I think the name I gave was Episodes. So collecting all the episodes, my first book in English was published on 2nd April 2002.
We are very proud of all the books we've published, of all the writings that you do. Your reach is absolutely phenomenal. Also, you're someone who writes across adult and children. That's not everyone can do that, to be able to switch, to be able to connect with, the right audience. And I think that's where the true merit of your writing lies. How do you do it?
Actually, adult writing is easy because thanks to Infosys Foundation, I go to so many villages and I know so many people. I know politicians, I know film actors, then I meet destitutes, I meet sex workers, I meet drunkard people, I meet very good students, excellent students. I meet, I go to village fairs in my work, etc. So my canvas is very large.
Right.
And what I see, I write Infosys Foundation experiences, and there are 4 or 5 books on that.
Absolutely.
So that is easy because I see them. But for children, I have to think. I become around 10 or 12 years old child first, and see the whole world with that eye. And everything looks fresh, new, inquisitiveness is there, and a lot of enthusiasm and positive thinking.
Right.
Then I write children book. Then it takes a couple of days for me from there to transit to adult actually.
Right.
But I enjoy writing for children because it is, you can tell so many things to them. And children do enjoy, whether it may be a small history piece, or it may be a little bit of botany, little bit of adventure, little bit of zoology, little bit of imagination. You can give different kind of, like a thali with many katoris, that I feel about
Very well put, yes.
writing for children.
So possibly you enjoy writing more for children, if I may say so.
Yeah, I think so. Because children are not biased, you know.
That's
so
so true.
when I see a smile on their face, I feel so nice. So I think I enjoy more children.
That's lovely. And I mean, you've written, like you just mentioned, you've written about people whom you've met, about a lot of memorable incidents from your own life, from your youth, about people whom you meet. From then on, you just made a foray into the magical world of mythology with the series that we published, I think, 2 years ago with The Serpent's Revenge, A Man from the Egg, and now the third book.
2016.
That's right. How did you make that transition? What made you choose mythology?
I know a lot of stories in mythology from my childhood. See, in a village in Karnataka, in 1950s and 60s, in our village there was no current, no TV, no radio, and sunlight to sunset was the only activity time. And there is a small village library which has almost 1,000, 2,000 books, and which I finished very fast. What is the source of entertainment in such village? It is only stories. Stories actually told by elders at home. And my grandfather, being a school teacher, he used to tell a lot of historical stories, and then I got hooked to that. I started reading in a very young age. So I loved mythology because, he would say, grandfather would say, close your eyes, think of Krishna, and he'll describe one shloka on Krishna. He's a Neelamegha Shyama, and he smiles, he's tall, he has the broad shoulders, he has the lotus side, and you imagine in your mind. Until 1980, Mahabharata series came, and Nitish Bharadwaj became Krishna's role, took Krishna's role. Until that, my Krishna was different.
Right.
Like, Shamtakaram, Bhujagashainam, Padmanabham, Suresham. So with all his adjectives, I could describe Krishna. And thus I started reading and learning more on mythology. It remained with me for 50 years.
Wow.
I said, and then I read also contemporary different language mythology. Orissa is different, Maharashtra is different, Tamil Nadu is different, Mahabharata and Bhagavad. I used to feel these are very unusual stories, I know, and I should pen it down. But I was worried. There are so many players in the mythology market. There are many people who write. So who will read mine, I thought.
Right,
And I remember when I had conversation with you, I said, make a print run of 1,000 only in case I don't do well. I remember I was a little diffident.
But look at the response. I mean,
I was surprised.
Absolutely, and they have taken it to it so beautiful. And I think it's the charm of your writing. You've made mythology so accessible. How do you do it? I mean, there's just so much in that space. So many stories that you remember from your childhood. But to wean the ones that would go into this collection, to curate it, to be able to make it and simplify it and make it accessible for the contemporary readers. How do you do it?
I always assume today's kids are different. Like my time, my grandmother would tell anything, I will accept it. And atmosphere around us also was like accepting kind.
Right.
Today, children don't understand. For example, my daughter told me, when I read mythology, she's in London, she says, when I read mythology books, they talk so much of adjective to Lord Krishna or Vishnu, I get bored and I don't even go to the next page. Suddenly they say Raghuvamsha, Kakutsavamsha, then Suryavamsha, I won't understand what it is. So first I thought I should write for her. They all are same. Why they got different names? And there are only two Vamsha in entire mythology, Chandra and this one. Why it happened? Then give a family tree so that make it easy. If you make it more and more complicated, less and less people will read. Make it simple language with a family tree. And I don't have much creativity here because it has been written by Maharshi Vyasa. So the room is defined, all four walls have been defined. Within that I have to play. Even in my own book the ending would have been different. Okay, I know the ending. All the people know ending, starting, but in between stories they do not know. So keeping that in mind, I make it very simple, without a dictionary, and connecting this to this, this to this. We should connect. Then only it becomes understandable. That
right, absolutely. And these are absolutely fabulous books. And if I may ask you to narrate a very short story from any of the books that you've written. If you could just narrate very briefly, possibly.
There are many stories.
The
for
Upside Down King, the
Upside Down King.
maybe the title story.
Okay, I'll tell you. That is the shortest one
Yeah.
actually. There was a king in the Surya Vamsha, and he was very pious, a very good person. He did all good things. Then he gave the kingdom to his son, and he retired. But he had a desire. He wanted to go to heaven with his body. So he asked his Guru Vasishtha, please help me. He said, beta, you can't go like that. That is not a rule. People have certain gods have kept some rule. Human body has a rule, so you can't cross that one. But he could not keep quiet. So he went to Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra was opponent of Vasishtha. What he says yes, this one will say no. So he says, when he says no, I will do it, yes. Then he said, please send me. And Vishwamitra said, okay, I have done a lot of tapas, lot of meditation, I have a lot of power. I will use all that power and I will spend it. It's like having money, Tapas and meditation is like having money. I will spend and I will send you up. And he sent him up. And there Indra was worried. If this fellow comes with a body, then tomorrow everybody does a good job, then they will also come up. And this is not meant for human beings. After their death, depending on their good deed, they will stay here. But this is not allowed because there are certain strategies. He pushed him down. Vishwamitra every time will send him up and he'll push down. At the end, this fellow became restless and he asked Guru Vishwamitra, what I should do now? He said, okay, I will create a heaven for you between earth and heaven, and known as Trishanku Swarga. The king got the name Trishanku, and the Swarga is like heaven. So he stayed there. It has become a metaphor today that when we say neither here nor there, okay, we say, look at that fellow, he is in Trishanku Swarga.
Absolutely.
This is the ego between Vishwamitra and the strategies of the Indra. Poor Trishanku suffered, and there or not is a different story. So Trishanku Swarga, the metaphor, the word, came in that way.
Right, and such nuggets of wisdom from our mythology, I think, abound in all three collections that you've written. So I'd like to ask, you've written about real life people from your own life, and now mythology and other many varied genres. What have you enjoyed writing the most?
Well, every time what I write, I enjoy that. For example, writing a novel takes 2 to 3 years for me.
To conceive the idea
Conceive
first.
the idea, develop it, then check that, and I do a lot of research.
Right.
For example, this Secret of the Magic of the Lost Temple. I took almost 2.5 years because I wanted to write on a stepwell, and I went all around India, of course with my work only,
Right.
and checked different stepwells in different states.
Right. Adlaj was, I think.
Adlaj was there, Rani Ki Vav was there, Abhaneri was there,
right.
Then Nijamuddin I came and saw, then Agar Sen
Ki Bawli.
Bawli I saw. Then Karnataka, actually it started in 1000 AD in Karnataka first time.
Wow.
And those people immigrated to Gujarat later. So I saw the first one, and then I saw Karnataka only I seen 7 or 8. Then I said, okay, then I conceived what well I should imagine and that I should describe. So I do a little bit of research, I conceive this idea, it takes time. Writing what real life, like a 3000 stitch, took me 1.5 hours or 2 hours to write that. Because it's a real life, I know the facts by heart. Children book take little more time, a little bit more arrangement I make, sequence should be correct, words should be used properly, the theme should be right, you should not give wrong theme at the end, and should not preach too much in that.
Right.
If you preach, nobody will read. Okay?
So true.
Okay, just tell at the end of that there will be a story, there will be something which they enjoy, they will themselves will make a decision.
Right. And it's so engaging the way you've written most of these stories.
Actually I believe Goddess Saraswati, who comes and sits in my head, and she tells me to write, and I am only a clerk who writes. Without her kripa, I don't think I will be able to write. And this entire success, if at all it is there and it is really great, then it should go to Mata Saraswati, not to me. I am only a clerk. I am only a clerk of hers.
No, we are so privileged that you are blessed because we get to read all these wonderful stories. And so when do you really get the time to write? Because I know you are very, very busy with all the other
I prefer
work.
morning actually.
Early mornings.
Early morning. Because every day I get around 200 to 300 emails, around 250 to 300 calls. So morning after 8:30 to 5:30, there's absolutely no way I can sit. Always on the move or talking to someone. So I want to finish early morning.
And do you go by a certain word count that I have to write these
No,
this much?
no.
It's free flowing.
Actually, many times, I am a computer engineer. I say this is my CPU and my hands are IO devices. My CPU is so fast, I will not be able to match. And normally if I take up one book, until I finish, I don't leave. Not halfway, no, I will not do. So every day morning, as much as possible, I write. And I don't like to talk at that time with anybody. And I want to be very
Just to be
quiet.
dedicated
And
to it.
actually, I feel it's such a lonely process. Me and computer, that's all, no one else. And the thoughts will be so fast. Sometimes I make it small sentence and then I'll sit down and make, whenever I have time, bigger sentence. Everything will be ready. I have to just write it. And one story leads to another. That itself takes me to the end.
Fabulous. And so what can readers expect from you next? What are the next few books coming out?
Next book, next year 2019 is a women's issue, because there are very few women in mythology who have whom we have shown a great courage, great woman, and independent existence. I'm not talking about popular people like Ahalya, Draupadi, Sita, Tara. No, I have not written anybody about them. These are different people. Devayani, Damayanti, Bhamati. They have showed great courage, independent existence, a clear thinking. That will be my.
They are remarkable women, and I think their stories need to be
2019,
told.
and it took maximum time for me to write.
Wow.
Because I have to do a lot of research, remember, pull them out, verify. It took a lot of time. Then after that, to 2020, I have one more book.
What motivates you? I mean, is there any incident from from your writerly life that you may want to share with us today? Something that keeps you going, something that you go back to, something that you really, really cherish.
There are two things. My foundation of work, I do it because poverty is my inspiration. When I see poor people, I always feel I have a duty towards them. I always feel. It is my commitment to them, I feel. And I just cannot keep quiet. I have to do something. And that is my foundation work. So it goes, I go on working. Since last 22 years I am working like this. And that work leads to writing of my experience for adults. Foundation experience leads there because very few people have the kind of experience I have. Very few people will get in their life. They may get one, but in my case I get many. It may be 3,000 stitches, it may be RH diagnostic, or the day I stopped drinking milk. You take, these are the rare experiences. And it not happen to everybody. What is philanthropy? Philanthropy means love your fellow human being and share. So I'm sharing my experience. It's a kind of philanthropy, I feel. This won't happen to everybody. And people should know such things do happen. And such people do exist.
True.
And that's the reason I like to share my experience of Infosys Foundation. Coming to mythology, ours is a great country. We have an oral tradition of 5,000 years. We have a commitment, actually, I feel. We have a commitment. If you know, you should pass it on to next generation. That's a small story I will tell you. Bhairavi was a dull fellow in their family of Pandits. It is a story, I don't know how far it is true. He was very, very dull, and his cousins, brothers, everywhere very bright. They said this fellow is useless. Every day they used to tell him. Then one day he said, I should die, I should not live like this. He ran away from home and he wanted to die. Then while he was walking, they said, don't go to that house, lonely house outskirts, because there exists a Brahma Bhuta or something like that, Rakshasa, and he will eat away. He said that's the best way to die. He goes there and he meets the Brahma Rakshasa. Brahma Rakshasa says, I was a learned man last life. I did not share my intelligence, my writing, my experience, everything with anybody. I died. When you do not share your knowledge with anyone, then you become a Rakshasa. So you are my best student, I will teach. He taught him and he became a very famous Sanskrit scholar. It is a hearsay story. The moral of the story is, when you have all this knowledge of the mythology, and without sharing, without telling next generation, and we are only custodian of the knowledge. It has to flow down.
Absolutely. And parents have also a very important role to play.
Yeah. So when it's a custodian, so I can't keep all this knowledge. I have to allow it to flow down to next generation, I feel, and that motivates me to write.
How lovely. It's wonderful. But I also feel like, you just mentioned that I meet special people, or I have met remarkable people in my life. I'm sure we all do, but we really, I don't think we have the knack or the ability like you do to make the ordinary extraordinary. How are you able to communicate that so well through your stories? Because we also meet people in our own experiences and in our day-to-day lives, but I mean, not everyone has that talent to remember, to be able to beautifully put together, weave a story around it that generations will enjoy, and you really have that remarkable ability.
I'll make an effort what I see, what I know to.
Do you pen down some of these
No,
incidents? It's all there in
everything
the
will be
head.
in my mind.
Wow.
Everything will be in my mind. And once I start, then they come down like Ganga comes from the hills, okay? So they all come down
Free-flowing.
and free flowing.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So from inspirations to, say, indulgences, do you have any secret indulgences, if at all? Is there anything that you spend on, Mrs. Murthy?
Hardly I spend any money. Hardly.
Or any one thing that you want to own, maybe?
Books I want to own, and I have my own library. I have a very good library collection. I don't lend my book to anyone because if they take it may be a rare copy.
Right.
And in the company of books, I think I can spend hours and hours together. I see movies, okay, because I think
You're a Bollywood buff.
yeah, because creative writers are also a kind of artist. So I can understand the storyline and what they take, and I like very good. I like good wordings in the music, not only the chal, but I require the wording, sahitya we call actually in Sanskrit. I'm very conversant in Sanskrit, by the way, okay, because of my grandfather, and initially
You
I
grew up
read
reading
everything,
those
okay,
books.
and I love books. I love good music, more of a Hindustani. I love food actually, but I don't go out and eat and all. I don't do that.
So
I
it's
don't
all-
have time. At
Yeah,
home,
at
we have a good cook.
Unless you're traveling somewhere, maybe.
Yeah. Otherwise, no. I'm not fond of going to a restaurant and eating. And that's and my work itself gives me a lot of kick. I think foundation work.
True.
But I don't spend any money on anything other than books and music. No. My medicine in case required. I don't have any, because I really do not have any interest in buying of anything, or my mind doesn't get into that at all.
Wow. And in some of the books, you've mentioned your granddaughters, your lovely two granddaughters, Anushka and Krishna, and you also dedicated books to them. In fact, Magic of the Lost Temple is completely based
To
on
Nooni.
Nooni,
Yeah.
Anushka. So, how do you get to spend a lot of time with them?
Yeah, Krishna is the older one, and I wrote a book, Grandma's Bad Soft Story,
Story.
for her, and she was 3 years old or something. She was 2 years old, and then Nooni was born, and Anushka was born, and both of them, once they were fighting that Ajji loves me more because she wrote a book for me and not for you. Then they fought. Then they decided sharing is caring, and they tore the book into 2 parts.
Oh my God.
So one part for me and one part for she said Krishna and Anushka. Then I told Nooni, sharing a book doesn't mean you have to cut it down. I will write a book for you. So I wrote
Magic of the Lost Temple.
And my granddaughters also, I tell them some stories, whenever I meet, I tell some mythology stories. And I tell them to repeat. And the moment I tell them to repeat, they come out with a different part of the story at all, which are quite entertaining and quite shock at times to me. But that's the reason one thing I know, that they have a lot of creative work, changing story upside down. So they may become one day writers, I suppose.
I'm sure.
And I like to spend time with them. And again, I like to tell them a lot of stories,
And I think that's also what has kept you
Probably, yes.
so innocent, and your love for life.
I suppose because I enjoy a good rain, I enjoy a good flower. Okay, actually I like flowers. Maybe sometimes I buy. Okay, flowers I enjoy. A good meal I enjoy. And I was quite enthusiastic to go to Sui Dhaga. I said, oh, let's go and see the
you
new.
watched it already?
Yeah, very first day, first show. And my husband doesn't understand, what is there to get so much enthusiasm? I said, no, Varun Dhawan and Anushka, it will be a good movie, let's go and see. Even to go into a theatre I enjoy. So,
So you take out the time to do that.
that's
to
how
go for
I
a
do
movie.
that. I have to see a movie. And there is so much fun seeing in a theatre than seeing on a YouTube or a DVD. because you will have call in between, you have to stop. Here you are with the big screen, and it's nice to see. There's a format for that.
Fabulous. So in the next segment, I'm going to ask you some rapid fire questions, if you may call it.
Fine, no problem. I
Bring
don't
it on.
lie. I will tell you simple things. I don't lie because I don't have a great memory power to remember what I lied last time. Okay, so when I know the truth, any rapid fire, anything is fine for me.
Okay, shall we start?
Please,
Tea or coffee?
neither of them. I don't drink.
Beach or mountain?
Mountain,
Your favorite movie?
many. I can't tell one.
Favorite food?
Anything of roti I like.
Okay. Any specific food that you can remember?
Oh, licha parota.
Lacha paratha.
Licha parota.
Okay.
It's not good for health, but with all those things I love. that.
Right. And a favorite book? Your favorite book of all times?
All times is difficult to say. Okay, 10,000 miles without a cloud. I liked it a lot more than any other book.
Your favorite memory from childhood? Maybe a crazy, naughty memory.
Well, I have a sister who is 3 years older than me, and my parents used to take us to Tirupati, which is our family god. And I used to have my mom will give me a head bath. And when you go, when you are going to the temple on this either side, there's a lot of toy shops were there in those days. They will buy one toy and say share. Immediately I'll open my hair and sleep on the road, saying that unless you get me new toy, I will not get up, dirtying my hair.
One last question here. Life with Mr. Murthy in one line or one word.
You require tremendous patience, tremendous enjoyment, and a great company, though he's very silent.
But you guys are, I think, absolutely you complement each other because of that.
Because opposite poles attract each other.
Lovely. And one last thing that, maybe a lot of our readers would like to know, something that you would like to tell them, possibly parents, because a lot of them struggle to make their kids read. And since you have grown up reading books, you love reading more than writing. If there's something that you'd like to share with them.
Of course I will tell. When children are born, we think they will grow on their own and we will be on our own. And we will put them to school, teacher will look after them. No, it is not that way. Nobody is a role model. Mother is a role model. Father is a role model. You want your children should read books, you read first. Sit with them and read. You have to put an effort to read. You give them a toy and you will see a TV serial. They will see TV serial tomorrow. Put the TV off. Give them ration it twice a week, once a week, depending on what you want, which program. But you should sit down, come from office if you are working, take 10-15 minutes rest, start your cooking, then you come back, sit and read 25 pages. The child will sit with you. Parents have to put an extra effort that their children have to read, and they should read first.
So true, absolutely right.
What you cannot do, your children will do, never. Even though you read, they may not read. Right. So you have to put double the effort actually.
That's true. But it's heartening to see a lot of parents, especially urban parents, making that effort, buying books for them. And
take them to bookshop. Always for Diwali, give book as a gift. Birthday gift is always a book. That's what my parents did. Never gave us a ribbon in those days. It was a ribbon or a dress. Never. It was always a book. Always a book. I think the great Bengali habit is always a book. That's what I have noticed. And children save money there for the book exhibition. We also used to do that. Save money for the book exhibition. Take your children instead of a Pizza Hut or burger. You take them to a book exhibition.
Right, or book fair. There's so many of them now happening throughout the country.
You have to work on them.
Right. And spend time with them. Maybe.
Spending time is more important than giving a lot of money.
True. And one last message for aspiring writers who so many of them look up to you.
Don't be in a hurry. Okay, first you think clearly. Write whatever you feel like. Keep it for some time. Don't be in a hurry to publish it. You should get convinced because your ideas change later. If you are very young, keep it for a couple of years what you write. But go on writing. Write so that you should feel nice. Not, okay, don't imagine I will get a Nobel Prize, I will be bestseller, people will come and attend my book reading. Don't do that. You do other way. Will I enjoy this book? If I read this one, does it give me happiness? First you have to know that one. And people who are well read can write better because many techniques You must have read many people's writing style.
Right.
So read well, be sensitive, observe everything, write and keep for some time. And if it is rejected, please don't get disheartened. So what, you may lose the battle, but you will win the war.
How lovely. Those are beautiful thoughts to end our conversation with. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
you for dropping by. And for all our readers, please get a copy of her latest book, The Upside Down King. Unusual stories about Rama and Krishna. It's a wonderful series, it's a wonderful book. And as we all know, we love your writings, Mrs.
Thank you,
Murthy.
thank you.
We hope you continue your journey of writing, and may we get to read many, many more books of yours.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you so
Sohini.
much.
Thank you very much, Sohini.